Michael Danby, the head of the United Nations nuclear watchdog, will visit Australia this week as the agency prepares to scrutinise our AUKUS plan to build nuclear-powered submarines. Gee, I tell you what, Michael, they're quick on the draw. Talk about jumping the gun. These are at least a decade away.
Yeah, well, I think the issue of getting them is actually more important than sort of satisfying some bureaucrat at the United Nations. By the way, Chris, your editorials were both very funny, and commiserations, Holly, for being bagged by the insiders. You must be doing well if you're attacked by them. So,
don't leave that point, Michael.
The main point
we're about to show our viewers exactly what you're referring to because it was extremely funny. And we'll get to that in just a second, but go on.
But the Chinese have launched the third carrier. They're about to do 3 more very quickly. Their Navy is larger than the American Navy and the Indian Navy put together in the Pacific. They're moving on the South Pacific Forum in a few days' time, where they're going to turn up and hold their own conference on top of the South Pacific Island states without invitation. So we're in a serious situation, less attention to the United Nations. I think both the opposition and the government should go to the Americans and say, can we lease one of these Virginia-class nuclear submarines as soon as possible, even if we have to have a 50% US crew so that the Australian submariners can learn to operate a nuclear submarine.
Holly, I wouldn't disagree with any of that. But the point about the United Nations coming down and sticking their nose into this and saying, oh, it's against all anti-proliferation legislation. Sorry, this is about the protection of our nation. It's not about a civil nuclear industry.
Well, we would actually be the only ones without a nuclear weapon program with nuclear submarines. So their whole point about uranium and nuclear being misplaced or misused and redirected to a weapons program, we don't have anyway. But at a time when China is increasing its nuclear capacity, not in its nuclear submarines, but also in their ability to launch nuclear weapons, you've got to wonder who's pushing these agendas and whose bidding they're doing, because I don't think they're looking at the members of AUKUS or NATO, for that matter, and thinking we're on their side.
Yeah, exactly. The point about what it's all about could have been ascertained from any read of any newspaper based on the AUKUS agreement over submarines. They don't need to come here and stick their nose in it.